Okay, for the first kind of assignment that we're going to do as far as writing, I don't want you to be fearful. This is not something to be afraid of by any means, but for this class, you're going to have to be able to write a particular way because when we do take the exam at the end of the year, yeah, you will have a multiple choice component attached to it, but you're also going to have to write four different types of essays. Now, the first kind of essay that you're going to have to be able to be familiar with is an argumentative essay. Okay, now it. I'm sure you hopefully have done this, and probably pretty sure that you've done this in your English classes. So we're not going to kind of verge too much from that. But what I want you to do is this: first and foremost, before we talk about anything that's going on, I need you to choose a topic that has, that has two sides that can be argued, and it doesn't have to be academic. Okay, it can be a fun topic. You can argue sports if you want. You can argue, I don't know, best TV show of all time. I'm not sure. You can argue some sort of fashion. I don't. It doesn't matter. But what I need you to do is pick something you're familiar with. Okay, so that you, when going down here and filling out this outline, you can go ahead and understand and document both sides. So what I'm going to do is I'll choose a sports topic, and then I'll put the goat of basketball. Okay, the goat of basketball. So the greatest of all time. If you don't know what goat means, it means greatest of all time. And maybe my first option is Michael Jordan. Maybe my first option is the goat. Maybe my second option is LeBron James. I could do that. All right. And then what I'm going to do is this: is I'm going to begin filling out this outline, if you will. Okay. So I'm just going to take one. If I were to say, okay, Michael Jordan is the best player of all time, why would people say that? Why would they say that? Now, for this part, it is my belief that Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time because, all right, because is huge here. Because tells the reader that I'm just not making a claim. I'm about to back this up. Okay? I'm about to back this up. Now, why would people say that Jordan is the greatest of all time? Whatever comes into your mind, okay, at this point in time, this is what you would write down. And you can create a list as much as possible if you want. You could say leadership. You could say clutch abilities to make baskets at the end of games. Maybe you might want to cite the various MVPs, his playoff scoring average. You might even go ahead and even cite that he won the Defensive Player of the Year. He was on the first Dream. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that you could argue. But, I mean, hey, get down as much as you possibly can. All right? And then we'll kind of narrow down that list a little bit farther right here, okay? And then same thing for LeBron James. Why would, LeBron James is the greatest of all time? Because why would people say that? All right? Write down as much as you can. Now, when you get down here, this will be paragraph number one. All right, this right here, this greatest of all time greatest of all time because. That's what we're going to concentrate on this moment. Okay, but I do want you to go ahead and continue to fill it out. Okay, now here's what I'm saying. For evidence piece of one, right, for the evidence one, this will be our second paragraph. Choose one that you're most familiar with. Okay, so maybe I want to pick the playoff scoring average. Okay, well, he had a 32-point playoff scoring average. All right, boom, that goes there. Now, why is that a good thing for the GOAT argument? That's what your commentary is. So you're going to use some piece of evidence that you've listed up here because you're going to say because Michael Jordan's the greatest of all time because 1, 2, 3, or 1 and 2. We'll just say 1 and 2. All right. Well, here's the first thing that I'm going to argue, and this is why it's important to the greatest of all time argument. This is a personal commentary. This is where you reason. This is where you explain, why this piece of evidence is so crucial to the GOAT argument, and more importantly, why it makes Michael Jordan the best of all time. And then you're like, okay, well, my second piece of evidence is this, and I'm going to tell you why it's important, and I'm going to give you reasons why they're important. I'm going to reason with you. I'm going to tell you why I'm right, and why, more importantly, this is critical to claiming that Michael Jordan is the best of all time. Now, what you will find out is this when you do this. Sometimes when you start filling out all these different boxes, you're going to be like, wait a minute, I have more in the side that I don't believe than what I do. Hey, that's awesome. That is great. Because when we took this last exam last year, a lot of people started filling this out and they're like, well, wait a minute, I have more to write here than I do here. Pick that side, okay? Pick that side. Part of being educated is to be able to understand both sides of a debate, and more importantly, being able to argue what you might not feel in your heart at that time. So choose which one you want to go with. Now, when we bring it all down here, this is what we're going to be concentrating on, all right? Concentrating on. The thesis statements, the first paragraph. Now, the best news of all time is usually a thesis paragraph is like 2 to 3 sentences, all right? But I'm going to show you how to start it off. When you start off a thesis statement, what you want to do is take the opposite of your viewpoint, all right? Because what a thesis is going to be a claim statement. Like, I feel this way. And so what I like you to do is this, okay, I'm going to go back to my Michael Jordan, LeBron James comparison. And what I would say, is probably start off with this. Some people believe that LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of all time because, and once again, there's that because word, because of his 4 titles, numerous MVPs, and defensive acumen. That's what I would put, okay? So some people believe that LeBron James is the greatest of all time because 1 and 2. Period. Okay. However, and that's a key word that you need here, because however is telling the reader, who is me, that I'm about to argue a differing view. So however, comma, it is my belief that Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time because 1 and 2. Done. Okay? Done. That's all you need. That's all you need to do for this assignment is you just need to follow that format. Some people believe this because of this, period. However, comma, I believe this because of this. So what you're doing in your thesis statement is you're saying, okay, I've told you the opposing view, and then I've told you my view, and by the way, I'm right, and I'm about to prove it to you in paragraphs 2 and 3. That's what I'm about to do, okay? So that's the key part that we're trying to concentrate on. It's just that first part, So if you can look at your thesis paragraph and you're like, I've addressed the counterpoint and why people might feel that way. And listen, you don't have to go in some long-winded explanation here. Just give me a couple things, all right? Like his defensive acumen and the fact that he's 6 foot, I don't know, whatever you want to do, all right? And so these don't have to be long, 2 to 3 sentences. And then you tell me how you feel, because, boom, you're good. And that's what I want to see down here in the thesis. That's what I want to turn in. That's what I want you to turn into me by this Sunday night, all right? So if you have any questions, concerns, or comments, let me know. Talk to me, and you'll turn it into Google. And what I'll do, Google Classroom, what I'll do is I'll look through them and I'll give you comments about, hey, I like this. I think this is great. Wonderful job. Or, hey, I think this can be improved. So that's what we're just trying to get at with this as well. Okay? All right. See you next week.